crispy and evenly browned skin, juicy and tender meat. A little attention to detail goes a long way. And yep, that burner isn't even on. Say goodbye to the old method, because today we're making. Alright, today we're gonna make some chicken thighs two ways. First, the way most people make them, and then we're gonna make a few simple tweaks to turn them into the best chicken thighs you've ever had. And for our chicken, I'm using 2 skin-on chicken thighs with the bones removed. Let's start with the standard method. Preparation is gonna be pretty limited here. Just salt both sides. You could add pepper or a little spice rub if you want. One of the biggest hurdles with chicken thighs, as you can see here, is they're not very evenly shaped. It's sort of like you got rolling hills with a big valley in the middle. And you can imagine that poses some interesting problems when it comes to even cooking. Then, as we tend to do, get it into a screaming hot pan with some oil. I mean, this is how I was always told to do it. You get a nice hot sear. You would think that that would translate into a nice crispy crust, but notice how it starts to shrink up right away. Not a good sign. Lots of oil splatter too. What a mess. After a couple minutes, we'll give it our first flip, and immediately you'll notice the uneven browning. It's like the valley of our rolling hills didn't really get much browning on it. But we press on. A few minutes later, we'll give it another flip again, and what do you know? Same issue on the bottom side. We're looking at a very uneven cook here. It's also taking a super long time to reach a safe internal temperature of 165, and the thin side is getting overcooked before the thick side even has a chance to reach that nice temperature. You know that's not the sound we're looking for, but I'm willing to keep an open mind here. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, it's pretty nicely cooked inside, but I can tell some of the fat and connective tissue didn't have time to break down or render properly. Also, the skin's a bit rubbery and peeling off of the flesh. Let's keep an open mind here and see how it tastes. Not too bad. It has a slight gamey flavor to it though, and it's decently juicy, but as you can tell, those juices are running out onto the cutting board pretty quick. Alright, time to step it up because there's a much better way. Okay, attention to detail is the name of the game here. I'm gonna put some little cuts into the thicker points of the meat. This is gonna help everything compress into one even thickness once it gets in the pan. This is gonna solve our whole rolling hills with the valley in between problem. It's gonna allow for more surface area and help everything compress into one even thickness once it's in the pan. I'd also take this opportunity to stretch the skin out a little bit and trim off any excess fat, tendons, or ligaments. This whole approach is sort of a blend of Japanese and French techniques. It's a balance of simplicity and attention to detail and the art of taking your time. And I forgot to record it, but I only salted the flesh side and not the skin side because that draws out too much moisture, which is a no-go for crispy skin. Last bit of prep, I'm putting a few small slits into the skin. This is gonna help prevent it from shrinking too much in the pan. Alright, so I promised a cold sear, so here it is. We're gonna get our prepped chicken into a cold pan with a little bit of oil. I'm using avocado today, but you can use any neutral oil with a high smoke point. Then onto a medium-low heat. Next, I'm throwing in a couple cloves of garlic and some rosemary. That's gonna help flavor the oil and perfume the chicken as it cooks. Now this is the real key. Take some parchment or some foil and weigh the chicken down with something heavy. This gives us total contact with the pan and compresses the meat into one even thickness. Let this go for about 4 to 5 minutes before checking on it. Alright, we're about halfway to a nice golden brown. You can remove the aromatics now because they've done their job. And you'll notice the chicken's compressed into almost a chicken patty, but it's retaining its moisture. You can start basting the meat with that super flavorful oil and pan drippings, mainly to get that infused flavor in there. Wow, look at that. Now that's better. We're gonna give it a quick flip to cook the flesh side for just a minute or so. Shoot for at least 165 Fahrenheit, but with thighs you can go a little higher to help fully render that fat and connective tissue we talked about. Alright, listen. Now that's the sound we want to hear. Oh, and pro tip, cut chicken thighs skin side down to help keep everything intact. Wow, okay, right off the bat, everything's much more compact and even. The juices have stayed inside the meat this time, and the gaminess and chewiness of the first method are gone. Also, the skin didn't separate from the meat this time. We're just winning all around. This is so good you could literally eat it by itself. With that said, I think this is a good opportunity to try out a new hot sauce I bought. Pretty good. Sweet. Alright, we covered a lot today. In summary, get your chicken as evenly shaped as possible, and a weighted, slow rendered approach will help you get crispy skin and a nice tender inside. I'm all chickened out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.